This conversation is brought to you by Modular, the payments automation platform. Hello, I'm Lindy Goodman. Welcome to the Future of Utilities podcast. And now let's talk about climate resilience and infrastructure networks. Where are we? Are we disjointed more than we need to be? And lots of other issues besides, with Alanna Gluck from Catapult. Great to have you here. And secondly, we have Amit Bhave from CMCL. Great to have you both with us. First of all, Alanna, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Hi everyone, my name's Alanna. I am engagement lead for the Climate Resilience Decision Optimiser program, which is currently led by UK Power Networks and funded through the Ofgem Strategic Innovation Fund. I'm also a senior consultant in the digital and data practice at Connected Places Catapult.
Perfect, great to have you here. And Amit, please tell us more about yourself.
Hi everyone, it's great to be here and thank you very much. I'm the commercial co-lead for CReDo, as Alanna explained what CReDo is, and my day job is running a tech company in Cambridge called CMCL. As part of that company, we have developed a digital approach, which is a cross-sector approach called the World of TAR, which forms the backbone of CReDo.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, look, understandably until now, when we look at climate resilience, businesses might have been looking at their own resources. We may not have been joining up the entire system because it's hard to do that. Why is a more systems-wide approach, an integrated approach, so important? Now we can achieve it.
Yeah, it's increasingly more important that we take a joined-up approach to climate change, because climate change, and specifically climate events such as Storm Arwen, they don't respect sector boundaries. An impact on one sector can cascade to another sector. And that's really what we're trying to understand in developing CReDo as a platform for better operations, is how can we unpack the interdependencies between those systems, understand how risk from climate change cascades across those systems, and where we can identify the critical points to create physical interventions and adapt our aging infrastructure.
Yeah, I mean, climate events have no respect for infrastructure. They just do it. Whatever it might be, they do that. So technically, it's been very, very difficult, yes, to join up your own systems, never mind systems from the outside, to look at the network or the system of systems. So how is that possible? How do you start to build a much more interconnected picture?
So to have that interconnected picture, first of all, you need to change your mindset.
Okay.
And it's not a technical problem, it's a problem in terms of how you approach this complexity. For that, the ultimate aim being to develop that digital glue such that you can connect and make people, teams, software, data, models, just talk and connect to each other. The way we have tackled this in CReDo is to engage with the critical infrastructure, so telecoms, water, energy, and then to understand how is their data structured, how does the information traverse, and then to encourage them to talk to each other, such that we have this joined-up thinking. So that connected mindset has been built into CReDo by design right from day one.
And are you doing it with a layer on top, which is able to dip into the data sets? Is that the way you're doing it? Is it something in the joins?
Yes, so that's a good question, because it's not that we are moving data from all these different locations to a central unit. And there have been approaches like that in the past. The problem is it doesn't work. It's not scalable, it's not modular enough, it's not Lego-like, where you can go and start with something small and then build up. So it's very much decentralized, where the data, rather than moving the data in a central location, you build an insight layer, as you talked about the layer, and you have those insights cross over and connect.
Very good. It's sometimes important to spell that out, even visually, just so that people understand how that is possible and how the principles work. And, of course, all sorts of weather events cause a cascade through different systems, Alanna. So any examples from your point of view, any maybe some unpleasant memories when that's happened and how it was fixed?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people can think about a time where they may have lost power and then their mobile doesn't work or the water shuts off. one of the kind of best examples from recent current events is the utilities failure in Spain and Portugal, which happened a few summers back, where a good amount of solar energy was produced on a really hot, really sunny day. You know, part of climate change is we have more energy than we're able to deal with, and the grid that was built to support that solar energy couldn't handle the surge.
Yeah.
What happened was the grid failed, and it caused a cascading impact, having not only energy go down, but then telecoms down. And when telecoms goes down, actually many public services can't operate, so the transport system went down.
That's right.
This has an even bigger cascading impact, because when these systems go down, people can't go to work, businesses can't run, and it actually impacts a country's GDP. So that's a really good concrete international example. But there are a number of examples in the UK, for example, the North Hyde incident in Heathrow, where there was an electrical shortage
that substation
caused,
went down. Yeah.
Exactly. So there are UK examples that are in the public eye that, you know, should we be able to do predictive resilience and anticipate what's going to happen many years before it starts, we can develop those right mitigations that actually allow us to adapt our infrastructure.
And it's the workarounds, isn't it, as well? You know, the fact is that if you are connected more seamlessly, or you have a wider view, you can start to find workarounds, technical workarounds that will actually allow you to function, perhaps dipping into other resources, perhaps working differently with the first responders, all those different elements, because this is real. We can all imagine what this is like, and we've seen examples of it.
So what we hope happens in CReDo is by highlighting through our platform where the critical vulnerabilities are with those interdependencies, identifying those critical assets. What it will begin to do is support organizations to make more joined up resilience strategies, which allow them to co-invest, and that investment may not, you know, just be in kind of financial measures, but also in the way they interact with their communities to better collaborate towards a shared goal.
We'll talk about CReDo in a second, but please, Amit.
It's. I think the thing to note here is a trigger point. In these cascading failures, there's always a trigger point. Talking about Heathrow, you said substation. So imagine a substation going down, so a water pump or a NHS hospital dependent on it. There is a trigger point which then cascades. So in your platform, in your model, in your insight gaining, you need to traverse that journey, and this is where there is complexity, but there's also opportunity there. I
guess in some ways, currently what happens is the weakest link fails. Is that correct? So that it could be multiple links, obviously, and there are many parties involved. But is it a case of finding patches, almost, if I can think visually, patches around a particular problem that may arise only at that point?
It's the word you use, link, is brilliant, because that's the connectedness, if I can say that. Because things happen upstream and downstream. So if you're able to isolate an event, to understand that point, and there could be multiple such points happening even simultaneously in different, and in the time space and the geospatial space.
And points of stress, and it feeds back as well, as you say. It feeds back into emergency, it feeds back to other systems that weren't broken the first time around, and it puts too much pressure on.
Well, so what we're trying to do is we'll be able to identify any number of vulnerable assets, but what we can also do within CReDo is start to prioritize the order in which those assets are fixed and maintained, because there might be equal risk in terms of the single asset itself, but where it becomes really interesting is when one asset, like a substation, is feeding a number of different assets in other networks, and actually you can see the criticality bump up, because it's not just about vulnerability to the climate event, it's also about the criticality of how that asset serves people and places.
So we know that this is, you painted a picture, but just define for us what CReDo does. What are the key elements of CReDo?
Right, so CReDo stands for the Climate Resilience Decision Optimiser. It's a connected digital platform which combines asset information from utilities companies together with climate data and cascading risk models.
Right.
It generates insights off of running those models to understand where those criticalities are in the connected networks, where there's the most high value intervention, and where we can avoid catastrophes for communities.
This conversation is brought to you by Modular, the payments automation platform. And Modular automates how money moves, delivering the efficiency, the accuracy, and the reliability that your finance operations need to scale.
So great. So now we know the problem. We know this breakdown, the feedback loops. So how does that start to help you to share data more effectively and start to solve the problems? How does that framework work?
So I would say, just to add to your,
Yeah.
rather than focusing on sharing of data,
Sure.
it's sharing of insights, because we want to have that shared understanding rather than, because sharing of data sometimes can be misunderstood as literally moving data from one to the other point. Here, there is an insight layer which is sort of the prominent layer, which lets you have that shared understanding.
So you can paint a picture of the scenarios around you when an emergency happens.
So you can literally instantiate, or you can have the assets mapped out geospatially where they are, what is their current state. Then you can run climate scenarios. There is a full library of climate scenarios which CReDo can provide as well. And as a result of those climate scenarios, you can assess the risk and the impact on individual assets in the systems, and how does then this risk traverse through a neighboring system or a connected system, because that operational logic is embedded.
Before it happens.
And just with respect to data sharing, we've designed CReDo under need-to-know principles of security, because it's not the case that everyone should be sharing data all the time. It needs to be for the right reason, for the right outcome, under the right conditions. And so what we've done is CReDo, we've created the conditions where our end users and collaborators are able to securely share information with CReDo and get the shared insights out of it without compromising their own security.
It's such an important point to make, because, and I wouldn't have even thought about the privacy element of it. This is such important infrastructure and response behaviors as well. Very, very important to keep that under wraps. Let's talk about regulation just for a second. Perhaps as a country in the UK, and I'm sure it's true around other countries as well, we might still be having that sort of that modular kind of like, slightly discrete look at issues when they arise in terms of climate failures, and that we don't have that whole system approach. So what would you like to see from policymakers, Alanna, that might change things a bit, that might help everybody to join at the process?
Well, I think that there has been incredible progress in regulation over even the past couple months, last year. We've seen a lot of interest in thinking about interdependencies and a desire to have DNOs and water companies equally use interdependency thinking within their planning processes. I do think there are some structural challenge which is very natural, because when these regulatory markets were formed, they were formed in an era where we didn't have a really good understanding of interconnectivity or have the understanding of the value of shared information and data. And so there are some structural barriers that, if we were to wave a magic wand, might help with some of the interdependency challenges. For example, having pricing controls line up across the regulated market. So right now, the energy pricing control and the water pricing control, the timelines just don't align, which make it hard for organizations to have joined up thinking in terms of how they develop their business plans and resilience strategies. So there's that. I think another thing is with respect to secure, purposeful data sharing. there needs to be really good use cases. And I think that policy and regulators can support sectors more broadly in understanding the value of sharing data in a secure way when it's appropriate for a shared outcome.
Yeah, people's heads are turned different ways at the moment. There's a lot of pressure on energy and water supply. So yeah.
So, I mean, you said it right. They were interdependent. They're connected, which also means there needs to be an orchestration of some form at that regulatory level as well. Because what if all the systems are connected, but the regulators themselves are in silos, and this won't work? And I think there is, with the report from Committee for Climate Change, the well-adapted UK report, it brings this out. It highlights this quite well. So I think there's a recognition on the policy level that this change in mindset and the orchestration is equally important.
So we're back to mindset, and clearly that's what you think, Amit, that we really should have a slight change of mindset with regard to this. And final point, Alanna, what do you think in terms of in terms of working together, what could we do in brief to make this process work better and together?
That's a very big question.
I only asked for one line. That's all. I
could just say, over the kind of experience of developing CReDo from a demonstrator to what's now a MVP digital platform, it's been really amazing to see the cross-sector collaboration and how surprisingly willing organizations are when there's a shared value, shared return on investment, and shared purpose. And I would love to see that scaled up across the UK, not just for the benefit of a project like CReDo, but because ultimately it's about ensuring continuity of services for the public who depend on these sectors and these utilities. It's also interesting to think that actually a water sector customer is an energy sector customer, is a telecom sector customer, is a transport customer.
Are working in the businesses too.
Right, and we may be making our customers kind of pay multiple times for the same sort of outcome, and there is a lot of value in understanding that we are serving the same public. There is value in taking that bottom-up kind of commercial organization approach just as much as there's value in taking a government top-down for the public good approach, that there's value in both.
It helps us all, absolutely. Yeah. Well, thanks, guys, for joining us. Amit and Alanna, great to have you with us this afternoon. At the end of the day of the summit, day one, so great to have you with us. And that's it for now from the Future of Utilities podcast. Great to have you with us too. See you soon. Take care.